Alright guys, so this is where I left off last time I played this, and hold on. Okay, there. Seems to be a bit behind, but Cameron could. It's just that I don't get calls on here. So or at least I don't know how to stream. Annoying now is how. What is a bit annoying though is how behind the stream seems viewers compared to how it is for me. So for now, hopefully it'll work out in the end. So Cameron, what's up? Alright. It shouldn't be cutting out. I have it kind of close, and oh, I was for the first two. That's odd. I guess if I just played normally like I am, just had the mic maybe a few inches away from me, and that'll be fine. Okay, good. Alright. Dialogue dump time. To be fair, we do learn a good bit here. It's just that, in my opinion, this goes on for a bit longer than it should. Or at least on this version. 3DS version, at least, speeds up the text, but and again, don't worry guys, where am I in the game? Still pretty early on. I only have the Deku Tree dungeon cleared, and I was told to go show Zelda the spiritual stone I got there, and here I am doing just that right now. It's a bit of a cutscene. It's a bit long, but that's mainly because this version of the game's it's not a bad part, Cameron, but Yeah, this version of the game's text is a bit slow, but some people aren't as bothered by this, and nothing ever gets as ridiculous as say Metal Gear Solid 4 or anything like that. It's not like they're jacking control from you for like at least 10 minutes before you start the game. or anything. But yeah, like I've been saying on the description, I've been using I'm using the virtual console version of this right now, and not an emulator like I was last time. That's because I just find it easier to stream with my capture device than with OBS plus emulator. There's some things that they wouldn't have thought out. I wish they would have, though. Are you talking about this game or Metal Gear Solid 4, Cameron? Oh. Yeah. Twilight Princess, at least lets you skip, longer cutscenes and dialogue dumps like this. Skyward Sword only does so if you've, watched it already. But yeah, it's still it's not too offensive in my opinion. Not as much as like less limiting games like what Metal Gear where you can skip cutscenes. Oh yeah, this game probably has my personal favorite soundtrack in the series. Mainly because I remember every song in the game for one. Also, Also, probably just nostalgia as well. For a Nintendo 64 game, this instrument samples also sound really good, in my opinion. A lot better than most. And even if some do sound a little bit loud or a little distorted or anything like that, the composition of the tracks make up for it. So I agree with you there. Actually, to be honest, I kind of feel like Link to the Past soundtrack was maybe a little more repetitive. Oh, okay. I see. Cause this game has more tracks to begin with than Link to the Past does. I like Link to the Past soundtrack though a lot. Mainly because I just like SNES music in general a lot. Hey Glenn, what's up? How is Mario 64 going for you, Glenn? Ah, nice. So you're almost there, Glenn. So, technically in the game, I'm supposed to go back to my home where I, like Kokiri Forest and learn Zuria Song, and then go all the way to Death Mountain and play it for Eternia, but first, I'm gonna do maybe a few side quests that are gonna help later and get a few things. I'm gonna get Sun Song, Epona Song, and the first two bottles I can get here. Yeah, Mario 64 is a pretty satisfying game, I'll admit. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely iconic. It's just that well, as a more explorative collectathon game, the mission structure, like I've been saying, the mission structure works directly against it most of the time. And I think when it comes to like structure and pacing and all, I think this game's aged a lot better than Mario 64. Like, I just think Mario Sunshine was probably, I feel like that game was designed more around that kind of structure. Oh yeah, Tall Mountains pretty bad in that game. I also remember Dire Docks and Rainbow Ride, and TikTok Clock being kind of repetitive for that reason. Yeah, Sunshine, I think Sunshine does have its own issues, but I do feel like when it comes to game structure, it's a lot better than 64. Alright. With this one. I might, but, oh well. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, Koopa the Click was really the only time where they actually used the mission structure to add much of a change to the level each time. Alright. Actually, you know what? I'll just come back to this one. Yeah, for the most part, I'm a main content person at heart, but Sunshine's main content, it was it was fun, and the side content, it wasn't. I don't recall it being as bad as the fans made it out to be, or anything. Yeah, Cameron, I agree. Especially the infamous pachinko machine. That was pretty. I mean, lot of the case of being back to Sunshine because of the pacing mainly. Yeah, EXO did a pretty good job defending Sunshine's Blue Coin side quest. See, when it came to the pachinko machine, I remember like once you were shot up from it, it would it would like automatically like propel you to the far right of it. I feel like it was kind of a glitch, as it didn't seem like as it never really struck me as something that was supposed to happen in the game. So that makes getting some of the red coins on the far left of it kind of a pain in the ass. Oh, hey. Hey, Christopher, what's up? Anyway, as I was saying, I did try, not last night, but a couple of nights ago, I decided to try something to see if that would alleviate that quote-unquote glitch in the pachinko machine. So I could get the ones on the far left a lot easier, and that was and what I tried doing was wall jumping up there. It took a few tries to, really get it right, but I eventually, got it. It ended up not being too difficult. And I guess next time I do the pachinko machine, I'm gonna, do it that way. And to be fair, Glenn, I can agree with you and, Matthew on that one. There is a lot of, finer nuances Sunshine gets right, but when it comes to, like, the bigger picture of, from Mario, it does leave quite a bit to be desired, even compared to 64. I guess as a game, Sunshine just always, interesting more than the other 3D Mario games. Even Odyssey, to a degree, I find myself coming to do with, Odyssey. Although, or at least I can understand that, like, which one did I find? Come to think of it, which one is more playable? Sunshine or Odyssey? Oh. Sorry, Kim. Anyway. Now that I'm here, I got the two songs, I may as well get the other bottle. And do the other side quest. Hey, yeah, I mean, I will admit, when it comes to Mario, or at least 3D Mario, I do sometimes feel like there's more I could want out of them, if that makes sense. Even with even when it comes to Galaxy, or both Galaxy games, I sometimes wish there was a little bit more path variety in seems pretty minor, since I'm guessing that's not exactly what they were going for with Galaxy, but I guess like I always kind of viewed it as a series staple since like world. Because even like Super Mario Bros. 1 in World 1 Level 1, there was a pipe you could go to that was basically a shortcut to the end goal. So, not saying all Mario games have to be designed the same way. I just think that, like, when it's all said and done, the 2D games just strike the best balance. Between tight level design and path variety, especially when they got to World. World was beautiful in that regard. Oh, Glenn, don't get me wrong. There is a perfectly good case for the Galaxy games being the best ones. It's just that, well, everyone has their own sort of sense of appeal, and I ki- I kind of would like it if more Mario games had a good balance between tight level design and path variety. But I guess when it comes to I guess when it came down to the mission structure of basically all the 3D Mario games except Odyssey, um, I guess I guess when it came to designing all those games, they really couldn't have their cake and eat it too without something being sacrificed. Yeah, a lot of game series like that have to sacrifice a lot for another means, and that's when the divide. divisive. And I do think this kind of applies to Zelda as well, since now, from how it seems, Nintendo feels the need to make all of all the Zelda games now, or at least the last two we got being or at least we got the last two games we got in the Zelda series. Sorry, I'm got sidetracked, but sorry, Cam, but the last Zelda. And as a and what it allowed for was that you were able to do certain actually no, in Link to the Past, I mean Link Between Worlds is Dark World, and Breath of the Wild Beyond the Great Plateau, yeah, you could basically do any of the temples or divine beasts out of order, like in any order that you really want. So I guess what you could say is that the game designers at Nintendo had to account for such a mechanic. So as a result, since it was less linear, there was much less of a proper difficulty scale. Because it's harder to have more tightly paced progression or a proper difficulty increase in the right areas when you have so much player freedom. Because even though Zelda 1 allowed you to enter any of the dungeons whatever you wanted, since that game had very few unique items and item puzzles for that matter. But the problem is that if you doing so was not always, or was almost always not the best idea, because you wouldn't technically not be powerful enough. Link to the Past somewhat remedies this in the Dark World, because he can still do any of the any dungeon, or at least beyond the once you have the magic hammer from the first Dark World dungeon in Link to the Past, once you have the magic, you can basically enter any of the dungeons in any order. At least, well, basically you could do what where an enemy or a boss will be weak to a to a certain item from another temple, or a oh my god, that was embarrassing. But yeah, in Link to the Past case, yeah, I mean, for instance, like, I remember in something like Misery Mire, there were a few parts where you needed to hookshot your way to certain places, and Turtle Rock basically required things like the Fire Rod and The boss at the end of Turtle Rock required you to use both fire and ice rods to beat him. It was a little more focused. I guess Zelda 1 and Link to the Past were slightly more focused than it's just that they like those games, they still allowed for that kind of freedom to do things in whatever order you want to do them in. And if I keep streaming Ocarina to later parts of the game, you guys will begin to see that Ocarina actually works the same way. Now, if you're wondering what I'm doing, there is a torch puzzle that you could do around here to get to fast travel to the Lost Woods, since that's where I'm supposed to be in the game right now. Alright. Whoops. Alright. If anyone wants to use this stream as a walkthrough, and I feel bad for you if you do, by the way. I just kind of showed you the best way to fast travel to Kokiri Forest, or the Lost Woods, I mean, early. So, like, for instance, I remember in King K's review of this game, he complained that in order to get Surrey Song, you need to walk all that way back from Goron City, and then back. The thing is, though, if you know this little here. Whoops, Cameron. Sorry. Are you at least hearing me now, Cameron? Here, I'll lower the game audio real quick. Are you guys satisfied now? Alright. So I take it we're all good now, right? I'm not too sure right now, Christopher. I am at least hoping, Metroid Prime 4 is better. Or, I mean, good. At least. Alright. Now we got serious song, so, take that, some call me Johnny. That's for not going into much detail. I think Jay's also streaming, Metal Gear Solid, 2 on Euro Extreme. That's cool, Christopher. But yeah, for Metroid Prime 4, personally I would hope they do it to the Prime 2 way, or at least in terms of design, but that would appeal to me personally, but mechanically I feel like the fans would prefer something more akin to Prime 1. Oh, Cameron, interesting. Johnny's Ocarina of Time review wasn't bad. I understood his points. And again, this was back when Johnny went into actual detail with his reviews, and it's not like his newer stuff where he just makes some 15 to 20 minute reviews where he Cameron, you want a good Link to the Past review that doesn't suck its dick? Check out Jay's review of it. That's actually not a bad review. Whoops. Why am I screwing this up? Yeah. Well, I don't agree with, like, nearly. Yeah, I mean, I will admit, the review could have been a bit longer for Link to the Past, and there are some things I don't agree with in the review, like the idea that the less complex a temple is mechanically, the better. But on the whole, I do think Jay brought up some pretty good arguments against the game. Agree with, but I don't know if Jay would, since maybe he could do a 3D Zelda marathon, like maybe after his Metal Gear one, because you know how he's in that big Metal Gear craze. Although his Metal Gear reviews themselves are, in all honesty, some of the best reviews I've seen for those games. Oh yeah, I mean, of course Link to the Past doesn't hold your hand. I have probably told you guys before, but I actually do think, like, how Link to the Past handles exploration a lot. It's about neck and neck with how this game does handle it for me. Just sort of semi non-linear. Not like too much player freedom to where there's a bad to where there's like no difficulty scaling whatsoever, but not so linear that it holds your hand and doesn't allow for doesn't allow for much variety or anything like that. Now I'm gonna try something with getting to that one heart piece there. Sly 4 is the most disappointing thing since Sly 3. Since I'm sorry, I'm not I don't follow Sly all that much. Actually, you know what? Before taking on this temple, I should probably go nab a Hylian shield. That way my shield's not constantly breaking. I would agree, Glenn. Yeah, and I think that's kind of why I found myself coming back to Ocarina the most. Because there is that potential of going anywhere and doing certain things out of order, like there is in Link to the Past, but there's more focus. There's more there's more of a focus. There's more item-based puzzles than there were in Link to the Past. Especially the Water Temple and Forest Temple. Those... When we get to those, you'll see what I mean. And... as I talk about Metal Gear Solid 4 and how much of a disappointment that game was. I haven't really watched his review of Metal Gear Solid since not since it came out, not since he uploaded it. I'd have to look at it again, but I do remember it being one of the best reviews I've seen of that game. Yeah, I do think Jay probably did the best job at explaining what exactly Metal Gear Solid 3's staying power is, and like really explaining that much of it. Cameron, you feel like a lot of games from 2004 were like this? Can you, name a few? To be honest, I actually can't really wait for him to cover MGS4. Partly because of how much he was ripping on it in his review of MGS2, but mainly because Jay's a good reviewer, especially when it comes to Metal Gear.
Shop and save and buy a 6-pack. It'll be a lot cheaper. Where's Chewy?
Cameron, if the NGS2 review felt like a movie, then Metal Gear Solid 4 is probably gonna be like Titanic long or something. Joseph Anderson's a good reviewer as well.
I'm gonna go to Zach's match. Hey, can I get my spot back, please?
No.
Yes. I'll call you when I'm on my way back from the match, okay? Can you move your car then? I don't know what you're saying. Why don't you text me?
Yeah, I have grown around to like Joseph Anderson better than Matthew Matosis.
Joey, you done? What? Okay. Come on.
I haven't finished his Mario Odyssey review yet, but so far it actually seems really, really good. If I'm being honest. I haven't really looked at the reception that review got yet, but let me guess. It's, a lot of people hate it because of his opinion on Odyssey. Yeah, Cameron, I can get behind that opinion. I think, again, Odyssey's the one that I find to be the most replayable game of all the 3D Mario games. I just, But as a traditional Mario game, yeah, some of the other games like Sunshine or 64, even the Galaxy games, or especially 3D World, get the job done more than that of Odyssey. I guess in hindsight, even if in like Mario 64, the mission structure was more of a nuisance than anything. Later games built off of it and made it work. So I guess that's why people like you, Glenn, tend to prefer other games like Galaxy over Odyssey. In a way, more streamlined linear design, it allows for a game to be harder, but it also allows for it to be more fair, if that makes sense. As it's hard to do difficulty scaling with a lot of player freedom. Like I've been saying throughout most of this stream. Yeah, from what I've played of Fallout New Vegas so far, it does seem to do difficulty scaling well. I'll give it that. I still need to play Witcher 3. Why am I having as much trouble as I am right now on this? There we go. I mean, if Galaxy, I guess I can respect Galaxy enough on that end. I guess I just wish that maybe if it were for it to be a little harder. And because Galaxy in hindsight's pretty easy. While I've been saying that, linearity does allow for more fair challenge. The problem with games like Galaxy or like say Galaxy or Twilight Princess is that they haven't been challenging and have been the other extreme. Oh, I bet it is, Glenn. I'm sure if I actually gave Witcher 3 that kind of time, I would feel that way. Yeah. But to be fair, I mean, Odyssey was probably even easier than Galaxy.
Here's Ronnie. Take this. Take it.
I think it's alright. And that it gets the job done. There's just not too much memorable about it. I could see that, Glenn. I can't stand the combat in the Elder Scrolls games. So
Alright, Chichi. You people boy, no introduction. Be back. Zach, I'm going to get Zach. I'll call you when we're on our way home, and I need you to move your car, okay? Okay? Yeah, you need to move it. Bye. Chewie, I'll be back. Be a good boy, too.
alright, Glenn. You can. So, Cameron, it's just you right now. I see. So what's up, Cameron? Oh. Is it... Is it because of how much you've been eating? Like you've said? I see. Alright. Hey, Christopher. I'm actually, going to, go get the, magic meter, and then I'm gonna call it a stream after. Alright. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for... No, so... That's why I decided to play it, because I wanted to at least play something I'm used to. You again. Alright. What, Cameron? What did EXO say? You can dislike a tweet by watching the Emoji Movie. I'm sorry, Cameron. Maybe it's 'cause I'm off now, but I don't get it. You may be... Oh, well, yeah. Given. Of course you're not. Well, okay, if someone out there actually does, that's totally fine, but the general consensus of the movie is that it's a pretty bad movie. And for good reason. I'm not gonna, although, actually, to be honest, I haven't watched the Emoji Movie either, but I've heard nothing good about it, to be honest. Like, when I heard there was going to be one, I kind of figured Hollywood was basically running out of ideas, like always. But it's ending up getting a following for the memes, obviously. So yeah, that was my second stream time. Hope you guys liked it, and I'm not sure when I'll get to Zora's Domain and Jabu Jabu, but I will at one point, and as of now, hope you guys liked this stream better than my last one of Ocarina. So, yeah. That'll be all for now. See you guys.